to Pennsylvania, where a suspect has been arrested and charged in the death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson.
Joining us live now with all the latest is Court TV legal correspondent Kelly Craft. All right, Kelly, an extradition hearing was held a short time ago today. So please tell us what happened during that hearing.
Michael and Judge Ashley, Luigi Mangione, he has been charged with murder in the shooting death of the CEO of United Healthcare, Brian Thompson. Just a short time ago, he had that extradition hearing in Pennsylvania. He is going to be fighting extradition to New York. He did not enter into that courthouse very quietly. In fact, when he was outside, he crashed against the wall as police were holding him, and he yelled, "It's completely out of touch and an insult to the intelligence of the American people." So while he was in court, a defense attorney told the court that he would not be waiving extradition to New York, and that he does want a hearing. He has 14 days to challenge his detention. What you're taking a look at right now these are images from inside that McDonald's. So this was yesterday when an employee of McDonald's noticed him, contacted authorities, and then authorities began to question him, told him to take down his mask. When they asked him if he had been in New York recently, the officer reported that he became visibly nervous and he began shaking. So those are some images from yesterday, but of course the big news today is that he is not going to waive extradition to New York, so he has 14 days to file his petition and then have a hearing as to whether or not that will happen.
Not waiving extradition and still vocal, because I also understand there was a handwritten document that authorities found. What did that contain, Kelly?
Judge Ashley, it contained a lot of information, and possibly in regards to a motive in this case. It specifically mentions United Healthcare, talking about the profits of United Healthcare, how the company puts profits over people's lives. It also goes on to say, we have some excerpts we can put up for our viewers. It says, "To the feds, I'll keep this short because I do respect what you do for our country. To save you a lengthy investigation, I state plainly that I was not working with anyone." He went on to say, "I do apologize for any strife or traumas, but it had to be done, frankly. These parasites simply had it coming." Mangione's family has also put out a statement. They said, "Our family is shocked and devastated by Luigi's arrest." Mangione's family, they said that in a statement that was posted on social media. Now, another thing that we have been following and learning a lot more about is this alleged back pain that he has on one of his social media sites. You see his back possibly, that has appeared as if it has been fused together. One of his former roommates in Hawaii has come out and said that Mangione suffered from extreme back pain that would impact every aspect of his life, from his romantic life to just daily activities that he would try to do, and that he had come to Hawaii to try to get healthy. So that's the latest that we have so far. Again, the big news, fighting extradition to New York.
All right, Kelly, thank you so much for getting us caught up on all the latest. Appreciate it as always. We'll let you go now and bring in our guest, still with us, former prosecutor Mary David. Mary, he's fighting extradition. I'm a little surprised by that. What grounds might he have, and what are the chances of success in terms of fighting extradition?
I am surprised as well that he's fighting extradition, particularly in light of the fact that he confessed to these crimes essentially in that handwritten manifesto, but this was clearly not a skilled assassin. He had his whole life ahead of him. I think it's very clear that there were mental health issues. I don't believe that fighting the extradition is going to really lead anywhere. I mean, it's pretty much an open and shut case that this is going to move forward.
It is going to move forward, but I wonder if he's doing it on purpose, because if he wants to continue making his statement and have a platform to do it, then I think he can do that by fighting every step of the way, forcing the government to prove every point, gives him a lot more exposure. I don't know that. I'm just wondering that, given that he even yelled out, Mary, you know, that doesn't always happen. Defendants usually at that point keep their mouth shut. He didn't. But what about this in his statements, that these parasites simply had it coming, the written manifesto of sorts, that can be used against him? Is that, along with the video of the shooter, can those things be sufficient to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he is the shooter, the murderer in this case?
There is so much evidence here. The fact that he has a motive that has been unearthed by his roommate, him going off the grid essentially beforehand, wasn't really in touch with people, had a large sum of money on him and kept the weapon. It's possible that that leads me to think that he was maybe going to carry out other crimes in addition to the ones that he had. And the thing that defendants, I think, don't realize, perpetrators, when they commit crimes, and he hasn't been convicted, I want to make sure I note, is the amount of technology that is available to law enforcement. There are so many surveillance images and so much that is, for good reason, not released to the public in terms of how law enforcement can access data, can access information that can point to a defendant's whereabouts, that I think will really be a strong case create a strong case against him.
Yeah, no question. And it was used in this case, but it's funny. Why was he caught? A McDonald's employee called it in. So it's interesting. You go back to the very beginning. And I will say this, Judge, there is some mental health issue, or mental health issues in his past. But with the calculated nature of what we're hearing about how this crime took place, I'm not even sure that's available to the defense.
I don't know that it is, and it's so personal when you hear about the back fusion, the back pain, and those things. You just have to assume this was a personal planned attack.
And I will say this before we go to break. We'll go to break in a sec. Back pain?
Yes.
Serious back pain? Can affect the brain.
Yes.
It can absolutely affect the brain, so maybe there's an avenue there.
I wondered that. And as well, medications that people try to take to get any kind of relief because it's debilitating.
It sounds very serious.